Hello, I'm Pamela Davis. Welcome to episode 225 of the Well Done Life podcast. And hello, welcome back to episode 225 of the Well Done Life podcast. I'm your host, Pamela Davis. If you are new here, hey, how are you? Welcome. I hope that you will stay for a very long time and bring lots of friends. If you've been here before, you guys know the deal. I love you deep. Thank you so much for continuing to rock with me. I definitely wouldn't be here without you, and I definitely want you to always bring friends. I want you to keep bringing friends and then bring more friends, and we just make this like a big party. Before we get started with this week's episode, though, I think a lot of people who've been listening to me for a while, you know that I like to set the foundation. And it's really important to me just because this is a safe space, and I treat this safe space like it's a house that we're building. And so I want to make sure that our foundation is strong and clear. And so my main foundation is built on two very important things, and that's clarity and love. Clarity is really straightforward. I just want you to understand that I created the Well Done Life brand because I believe in the power of women. I believe in the power of us sharing our stories, the good, the bad, the rights, the wrongs, all of those things, just because we have a lot more similarities than we give ourselves credit for. And so I hope that this is a space where you can feel seen and heard. I share my journey because I authentically understand that it is my responsibility, or purposely not my responsibility. It is actually my purpose to share my story because I want other people not to make the same mistakes that I made. Yep, I am that person. I do not want you to fall into the same trappings that I've done, but I also want you to be inspired because I want you to see that, you know what, you can do this too. You can go out here and impact lives, and you do that already. You just don't even realize it. And at the same time, the mistakes that you make, they don't define you. There was a time in my life where I needed someone, or I needed a space actually, where I could see other women who were going through the same things that I'm dealing with make it. And I needed that space, and it wasn't out there. So I decided to create it. And that's what the Well Done Life is. So welcome. And I hope that you will feel seen and heard through my story as well as the story of other women. And I will have other women come on and share their journeys as well, because like I said, I really want us to have real impactful conversations, especially in a world that can be so microwave, so quick. We need to be able to connect and talk with each other and feel each other so that we can be inspired to heal and grow. So again, welcome. Then that leads me into my second foundation. It's my main foundation. I'm a sucker for love, and I believe in love. Love is the thing. And we're going to talk about love today as well. But love is the thing for me. And so for me, in order to make sure that I give love every week to you guys, it's very important to me to share prayers. I truly believe in the power of two or more people coming together in prayer in order for us to be able to magnify it, to be able to do something. So just my prayers for you this week are always going to be standing on peace. Yes, I am standing 10 toes down on peace. I feel like with the way things are in the world, we got to stand on peace probably for the duration. And you know what? I'm good with that. So this week I am standing on peace. I am hopeful that you are taking a moment to give yourself peace. And when I talk about peace, it's not about always doing something frilly, fancy, and fun, because that doesn't work for all of us. I know for myself, I don't always have the time for frilly, fancy, and fun. And so I just can sit and find peace just in sitting still. Sometimes just being able to sit in your car by yourself and eat something that you do not want to share. Yes, those moments, if you felt seen, believe me, you are, because I have done it as well, where you just sit, and my boyfriend, he likes to talk about it as like parking lot therapy, car therapy. It is. It's those moments where you are just giving yourself time to breathe, time to regulate, time to think about yourself. I really want you to have those moments this week. Like I said, the world is super noisy, and I think it's just really important that we prioritize that time, because when you're able to have peace, it gives you a sense of clarity. It gives you a sense of focus. It also allows you to dial into your body, this beautiful vessel that you live in, so that you can make sure that you're regulating your emotions and being good to yourself. Is really important to be good to yourself, especially in stressful times, because it's easy to get run down. It's easy to make yourself sick. You don't want to do that. Take the moment to be good to you. Yeah. Just take the moment to be good to you. And so I am praying that you have that. I'm also praying this week that you are able to be surrounded in love. Like I said, we're going to talk about love a little bit more, but I wanted to talk about it in the sense from, I want you to be surrounded in good reciprocal love. Like, I'm the person who believes that you should have love from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. And I'm talking good reciprocal love. Reciprocity has to be the minimum in the relationships that we have on all levels now. We are not at that stage of life where we can afford to be in relationships that are parasitic. So for me, it's very important to do that because that is true wealth. And I really am going to go right into my third and final prayer with abundance, because I talk a lot about abundance in reference to, I want you to be abundant from a mental, physical, spiritual, financial level, because abundance always kind of gets characterized just as the money, but I want you to have true wealth. True wealth comes from being in circles where you are feeling reciprocal in your relationships, where you are experiencing love, true good love. I had a really great opportunity to see it in action last night. I saw reciprocity and abundance. I'm actually out of town right now. I'm visiting my boyfriend. One of his really good friends is one of his best friends, and his fraternity brother turned 50. And so his wife threw him a beautiful surprise party, and I love them as a couple. They love my baby. So when anyone who loves my baby, I love them, but that's a whole nother thing. And so I went into this party, and it was just so beautiful seeing his family and his friends. And it wasn't just all Black people. It was everybody. Like, I like that. I love diversity in relationships, but everybody could say the same thing about this man, that we loved him, that he is just such a loving person. He's a connector. He's just a good soul. He loves hard. He even said that himself. And, it was beautiful because he was so rich. And I said that to my boyfriend as well as to a few people. You can see all the wealth in this room, all the abundance in this room, because he's surrounded with his children, his grandchildren, his wife, his friends, relatives. Like, we all, like, I flew up to see him, not just to be with my love. Like, I love my boyfriend, honey, I love you, but I love your friend. Like, he's a wonderful man. And so I want to make sure that I give love to him and his family because of the love that they give to you. And so I say that to say, and to use it as an example, because it's just a beautiful thing to be able to be surrounded in true wealth. True wealth is being in relationships and in circles where you are seen and valued and felt. Your kindness does not go out void. It is given right back to you. Because one of the things that he said in his speech when he was talking to everybody is how he could call anyone in that room and he knew that they would be there for him, just like he would be there for them. That is a rare thing. Many of us need to work on, or should aspire. I'm not even going to say work on, because that sounds judgmental and I'm not here to do that. But we need to aspire to have those type of relationships. We need people who will pour into us just the way that we pour into them. Like I said, the world is going to be the world. It's going to stay noisy. It's going to stay busy. And you are going to be in a cycle where you need somebody. There is nothing better. Let me tell you, there is nothing better than being in a space where you know that if you needed these people, they would have your back. And if you are in a space right now where you could honestly look across the room or look even at the person next to you and know that that person wouldn't have your back if you needed them, but you know that you would be there for them, then you're in the wrong room. You're in the wrong circle. You're in the wrong space and season. And I'm not doing that, like I said, to kind of spur you to thinking about the cutoff, but I'm spurring you hopefully to be inspired to seek abundance on those levels, to seek spaces where you are seen, valued, and loved. We have to stop putting ourselves in situations where we are not seen, loved, and valued. And so my prayer for you is to have that true wealth, that true abundance, that true love, where you are able to feel it from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet and know that even though you may not need them right now, but if you did, you have a circle, you have a community, you have a group of people that you know have your back, because in this world, it's so essential. You are not meant to do it alone. So those are my prayers for you this week. Like I said, I'm out of town. I'm recording actually on Saturday, June the 21st at 10:30 a.m. And I'm really glad to be back with you guys this week. I didn't record last week because I was in preparation mode to come, because I just have a lot going on with work and family and so much. And I was just like, I wasn't in the space for it. And so I just don't come to you guys that way, but I'm here, I'm back, I'm ready. I do want to thank everyone for their support of last week's episode, of the week before last episode, Crashing Out, because I do believe the crash out is real. You see, there's so many people out here who are just running on emotion and just crashing out and just essentially saying all the things out loud versus keeping them silent. And I mean, there's even more that's happened since then, but I can't even entertain that, because like I said, I'm just in such a different headspace, but I'm gonna leave that. And I know that there's enough commentary out there that I can't add anything of value to it. So again, if you're just a new listener, I never am that person probably to get too deep in current events. Like I will from a standpoint, especially when I feel like our life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness is in jeopardy. But the stuff that's going on now, no ma'am, no sir, like it's just not for me. So I'm going to leave that on the side, let other people talk, judge, do what they need to do, and just pray for everybody involved. But this week, I'm going to keep it focused on love, because I'm in love, and I've talked to you guys about that before. I'm surrounded in love, and I feel like love needs to have a conversation. And so I wanted to talk about it because it has been something that's been in my spirit for a while. And excuse me, I've actually had even a couple of people reach out to me about wanting to talk about love, and I have a whole series planned in my head. It's just I haven't really felt confident talking about love because, I'm just like really, I think, probably in love for the first real time in my life at the ripe old age of 52. And so I tend to always think like, I may be a little bit late to the game, and because I've never really been good at it, but now I finally have got it right in my mind, in my heart, in my soul, in my spirit. And so I want to talk about it because I really think I'm not alone in saying this. I know that at this season of my life, one of the things that I have realized as I have been in love now for a little over a year, going into 2 years, and I will be for the rest of my life in love with this man and then some. But I have recognized that I've been waiting for this moment, all my life. I know we've all heard it in the Hands to Heaven Beyonce song, and there's just been all these songs about it. But I wanted to talk about it in the sense that being in love is a beautiful thing, but let me tell you, you have to recognize that love is all about trusting the curve. And when I say, the curves, love has curves. And so I want this conversation to talk about it. And when I was meditating on it and I was trying to think, I was thinking about it even from a biblical standpoint. So I'm probably going to bob and weave a little bit just to kind of keep it flowing. But I want to kind of open it up actually with a scripture. I'm going to say Proverbs 13:12. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life. And the reason that I love that is because, like I said, love has curves. And if I think about it, love has curves and roots. And this moment, this season, I know many of us have been praying, been hoping, been healing for love. And when it finally shows up, it's a beautiful thing. But what does it feel like, or what do you do when it feels good, but it doesn't look like the fairy tale vision, thought, plan that you had in your head about it? Because I think a lot of times that's the thing, we have this set perception of what we feel like love is supposed to be and how how we're supposed to get it. Because again, we've been praying, we've been healing, we've been manifesting, we've been speaking life over it. We've been doing all the things, but then when it shows up and it doesn't look like what that vision, hope, prayer, thought, manifestation looks like, you get thrown off. Seriously, you can get thrown off your square. You're like, what happened? I've been doing all the things that I thought I was supposed to do, but what am I really supposed to do with this? Am I supposed to go forward even though it has curves? And so let's kind of talk about it from the waiting season and kind of work our way through the curve. So when we're in that waiting season, I think, a lot of times, we're, like I said, we're praying, we're healing, we're hoping, we're manifesting. We're trying to, put ourselves in that positive mindset that we're ready for love. And so we do everything to manifest. Because I know for myself, when I was in that season of it, preparing, I was healing areas of myself that I felt were blocking me from being able to be ready and receptive to love. I did. I wasn't always trusting of my heart with other people, because I was like a pushover. And so I felt like I put myself in situations with people where I could be taken advantage of because I'm more focused on their happiness versus my own. And really I attribute that to the fact that even though I love myself, I didn't love myself enough to recognize that I deserve love and respect too, just like that person did. And I know that probably sounds like a bar, but it's a real statement because I think a lot of us get in those situations. Again, we're so focused on trying to get the person that we ideally want, that person that we are praying for, but we are not acknowledging the fact that we were at this point of our lives previously, when we weren't in this waiting season, allowing ourselves to be in situations where we were putting the needs and loves and desires and thoughts of this other person ahead of ourselves because we really just didn't love ourselves enough to recognize that we're a prize just like this other person. We are the prize. To have us get that in this person's life is a blessing. And we need to make sure that the people coming into our lives are a blessing as well. And that's just one part of the waiting season. The other part is, healing through the thoughts of watching your friends and your other family and other people fall in love. They found their season, they found their person, and the wait can be long. I mean, I'm not going to pretend. I'm very honest about it. I went through a season where I just kind of stopped dealing with people, and I stopped dealing people, especially from a sexual standpoint. And I was celibate for like 9 years. And during that 9-year celibacy, believe me, let me just go ahead and preface this first. It wasn't a planned 9 years. Like I didn't plan to go into it like I wasn't going to be with anyone for that long. It's just the season that I wound up in. I made it a season where I was just going to focus on me. I was going to heal. I was going to do the dark shadow work. I was going to get to the issues of my self-esteem. I was going to get to the issues of how I never had boundaries and really dive into being a better person. And so I spent that time, that 9 years of healing and growing and learning and getting better, helping myself learn how to get there or, be in a position where I could have love. But during that time, I saw friends and family fall in love. I saw people fall in and out of love. And, you got to deal with that because sometimes there are emotions that you will have. A lot of people don't want to admit. Sometimes you can get a little pang of jealousy. You can get a little pang like, when is it my season? When is it my time? Why am I always the person cheering on someone else's love and I can't have that same love for myself? I mean, hey, maybe I'm just talking about me, but I know I've been in that season. I have watched other people have beautiful relationships. I've also watched some other people have some real raggedy relationships too. So let's keep perpetuity. Let's keep balance. But at the same time, there were seasons in my life I remember, where I put my heart on the line and this person didn't follow through. And I remember crying out to God one night, like, God, why isn't it my time? When is it going to be me? Why can't I have that one? And so I had to learn during those seasons how to shift the perspective to make sure that I wasn't just focused on waiting on this person to be ultimately everything that I needed. I had to keep my focus and my perspective on becoming the one that I needed. And yes, let me say that again. I had to shift my focus and perspective, not on just focusing on that person, wanting that ideal person. I had to focus on becoming the person. I had to focus on becoming the one that I wanted. And so, yes, that meant that, like I mentioned earlier, I had to dive into my shadow work. I had to dive into those things in my life, those traumas that happened that made me lose my ability to have boundaries, that made me recognize that I don't have to just lay down and do everything that someone wants for them to love me. I had to learn how to be me. And that's where in that moment, I started to recognize, even though I definitely at that point didn't have the words and the lyrics for it, I had to recognize that this this journey of finding love, that it's going to have curves. And then and when I say that it's going to have it's going to have curves. It's going to come in a different form, and it's going to be unique and individualistic, just like I am, but it's going to be divine and it's going to be beautiful. And so that led me, like I said, into recognizing, again, the curves. And when I say curves, I'm talking about it really metaphorically, because for me, it was like, I took 9 years out the game. I talked to people, but I wasn't sexual with people. And like, I would just get frustrated with people. And my cut game was strong because I just didn't have the patience for the foolishness. And for the ones that I did entertain, I entertained that person because I saw something in him. And don't get me wrong, I know we all say that we see something in someone, but I did, because I'm an empath. So I see people, I see your emotions. And sometimes I have to be careful with that. And that's another kind of like PSA, quick warning to those of us that are very feeling, that are sensing. We have to make sure that we don't put ourselves in a position where we are trying to allow the feelings and the sensing to shadow the bullshit. Excuse my language. Don't let the feelings overtake the red flags, because the red flags be blaring like, woo, 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 bridges out. And we will see those as like, I can heal him, girl. I can save him. No, that's not it. You have to recognize that everybody has things in their lives that they're working through, and you need to be with people who are just as committed to healing and working on those as just as committed to maybe you are to being the best version of yourself. Meaning, it is not my job to save you. It's my job to recognize what those flags are and to see if those are deal breakers for me. And the woo woo, the bridges out, that is for my honey, because I know he's listening so he can laugh, because he and I have had those conversations in the beginning of our relationship, and we were able to work through them because he was working on himself, and I could see that he was working on himself, and he had a plan. Like, he wasn't just trying to just tell me something just to tell me something. He had a tangible plan, and he was working through his plans, and I was able to see that, and that's where we are now. So love, I see your work. I thank your work, and you're here. But okay, we're back into this. But again, like I said, it has curves. So you're going to have those curves that come out, not necessarily over allowing your emotions to overshadow them. But you have to recognize that sometimes what that means is, because curves are metaphoric, that it can mean that love will show up later than expected. I mean, hey, y'all, I'm 52. I fell in love in my late 50, in early, like later in my 50th year, going into my 51st, now 52. So you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't young, but I can't even say that it was showed up later than that, because we first met when we were 19, but we just got it right in the 50s. So again, love shows up unexpected. And then again, it can come through unexpected people or circumstances. It doesn't always look like, hi, my name is such and such. I would love to take you out, and you guys have this magical moment and you go out and just have all the things. It doesn't always look like that. And you have to be prepared for that. And then also, again, unfinished stories. It can come with that unfinished business. It can come in seasons of grief. It can come in kids. And as I mentioned in past relationships, my honey and I, we met when we were 19 years old, our sophomore year in college, and we were so young and so innocent and just trying to figure ourselves out, and we couldn't figure out this, and we fell apart. But look at God, he brought it back through, and then it came. And so again, I just want to say this. The love I waited for, it didn't come easy. This love that I have, it is beautiful, but it came covered. And I'm going to dive into that a little bit more, but I really want you to understand that all I'm really trying to say when I say love has curves is I want you to recognize that real love won't always fit your Pinterest board, but it will fit your purpose. And let me say that again, real love won't always fit your Pinterest board, because the Pinterest board is what the thing is that we use when we are trying to have vision, when we just want to see all the beautiful pieces and curves and parts of it, but it will fit your purpose. And when I say that is because real love, it does. It fits your purpose. It has curves, but it works, it fits. It doesn't force you to fit. It just naturally fits. And one thing to remember with that is that curves don't mean broken. They mean real. Yeah. And that's where I said it fits. It fits your purpose. It challenges you. Because when you're in a curve, obviously that means that you have to shift and adjust. And love is like that. Love, it doesn't just come in to make you feel good. It makes you grow. It really does. Love makes you grow. It's not just a feel good concept, but it's love. And so I want to kind of talk about this in more detail, because really, if I think about it, especially one of the things that I am learning on this love journey, especially at this late juncture of my life, that love and accountability go hand in hand. And it is essential that you open space for accountability. And I'm even saying that not even just because I'm at this late juncture of life. I think accountability is essential at the oldest juncture, the youngest juncture of love. Like, there is accountability. I could think about that. And even our 19-year-old selves, we were missing that portion of it. We weren't able to take accountability for the past hurts that we had each probably experienced and our insecurities. And so we weren't able to communicate, and that kept us apart. And then I think God just said, they're not ready for each other, and I'm going to move them on. And he brought him back to me another time before he came back to me now. That's a whole nother story. One day I probably will lay it out. He and I have talked about it. Like, are we going to talk about our journey? Right now, we just kind of keep it sacred for us because, again, it's so beautiful, and I protect what I love. But I wanted to share this because I think that it's important to talk about the fact that love has so many twists and curves, and how love grows you, not just gives you a glow. Because again, I think about it, we get sold this fantasy of how love is just like, these fairy tale scripts. And it's not. Love is real. Love has curves. And so with that, in finding your accountability in love, your curves in the love, you have to understand that sometimes in love, you're going to be confronted. You're going to be confronted lovingly. Like, I'm not advocating for disrespect, but I'm talking about loving confrontation. And loving confrontation is being called out on your stuff in a way where it's like, babe, I need you to figure out why you are doing these things that you're doing, why you're not open to hearing different opinions, why you're not taking care of yourself enough physically, why you are not able to express your love in a way that I may need you to express it. And I need you to be able to tell me how you feel and show me how you feel in different ways. And that is love. Love is also being invited into growth, not just comfort. Like I said, love has real curves. I'm very honest about the fact that I'm in therapy, and I take it very seriously because I'm trying to be the best version of myself. You guys know. Or if you're listening for the first time, yes, I'm actively in therapy. I go to therapy to work on limiting behavior, limiting thoughts, because I get in my head sometimes. And I obviously have been someone who is dealing with self-esteem issues previously, where it's like, I will hold myself back because I get scared, or I get this belief inside of myself that I don't deserve certain things and I can't have certain goals. And so I'm trying to deal with that. And so I was very honest, obviously, with my love, because I want him to understand that that is something that I deal with. He knows that I go to therapy. He supports my therapy. He actually just started therapy, and I'm very proud of him because it's very important that he's identified areas within himself that he wants to get better. So he's working working on that. And we encourage each other growth. It's not about going to tell him what I talk about. It's not about him going to tell me what he talks about. It's about us utilizing our therapeutic experiences to have more intimacy, to be more real about the areas of ourselves where we feel unsure, so that we inspire each other to grow. And that is us being accountable, because we know that we want to be together for the rest of our lives. And so we are treating this as a foundational life-term relationship. And so we are trying to create that level of respect and intimacy in our relationship where we can come to each other about anything. We are each other's safety. We are each other's home. And then also that even makes me think about another thing about how love, like I said, how it grows you and not just gives you the glow, but it's about being responsible for the love that you're receiving. Like, I'm very grateful this man gives me his heart. He gives me his thoughts, his intention, and his secrets, and I'm his home. So I understand that responsibility. And I take that responsibility very seriously. Anyone that you love should be able to have that same type of feeling, that same type of stick-to-itiveness, and that 10 toes down type of behavior for you. If they don't have that type of attitude about how you are with them, they're not for you. And I know that sounds matter of fact, but it has to be, because in these type of lives, in these type of world that we are living in, you have to have safety in your love. You have to. You don't have time to mess around with people who you can't talk to, who you can't be real with, who can't hold you accountable, who can't be responsible for the love that you're giving them. Your love is precious and it is sacred, and you have to treat it as such. I treat my love like God gave his heart to me right in my hand personally, and he does the same for me. You have to have that level of desire, that level of commitment, that level of accountability. And when I don't treat him the way that he wants me to treat him, he talks to me about it. And when he's not treating me the way that I want him to treat me, we talk about it. But we talk about it in a respectful, loving manner. And it's very important that you do that, because again, remember, this love is about growing you, not just giving you the glow. And so, like I said, it has definitely been a part of my journey, being able to be corrected, being able to understand. And I've had moments where he's had to tell me, because I can sometimes be very compartmentalistic about my emotions, and not in a bad way. It's just how I've learned how to navigate because of how I have to move in life as a caregiver and some of the things that I've experienced. And so he's given me room. He's given me room to be able to be that way, but he's very honest. And I love that, especially because I think for men, men are not able to give that level of expression sometimes. They're not able to be vulnerable. They're not able to talk about their feelings sometimes, just because of the way the society puts these different walls and pressures up. And I have to take accountability for that. And so when I say that, I take accountability for that, that means that when I have someone like my love, who is willing to give me his emotions, his thoughts, his feelings without me having to pull, pry, pray, cry to get it. He gives that to me because he loves me and trusts me. I have to take actions and steps to make sure that I am accountable to that, because that's a precious gift. And he does that same thing for me, because we have to remember one thing. We have to understand that we are given a love that's not just to adore you. Like I've been waiting for this love, but it doesn't just adore me. It refines me. It strengthens me. It grows me. That's the life. That's the love that we've all been waiting for. And we have to be accountable to that, because we all have a role in how deep it grows or how short it may be. Because if we're not ready for it, then we can deny it, we can push it back, we can lose it. And that's one thing that I have to admit, I know for me and for him, that's one thing that we have prioritized that we just do not want to have happen. And when I talk about redefining it and readiness, because that's really where I'm kind of shifting when I say refining, because it refines you, it changes you, it has curves. As you're starting to move through the curves, you understand that, how you move forward, you have to change. You can't just run a straight line through, Because remember that curve, if you're not prepared for the curve, it'll take you out. So you have to understand sometimes that you have to look at your readiness. You have to redefine what readiness really looks like. And I really kind of want to talk about it first for the myth that you have to be fully healed, whole, or ready for love. And that is a myth. That is a myth that I have believed for a long time, that you have to be fully healed, whole, and ready for love. Everybody talks about it too. Make sure you're ready for love. Have you been healed? Have you been doing all the things? Have you done that? Let me tell you something. Healing is a lifetime journey. It is. Healing is a lifetime journey. You are never going to get to a point, to me, and this is just maybe me, where you are going to be fully healed and ready to go for love. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are definitely different things that we all go through, past relationship things that happen where you have to heal through those things probably to fully move in. But let me tell you again, life and love have curves. And so you have to understand that sometimes what God has for you is going to come to you in a season where you are not in your mind 100% ready, or where you are not in everybody's mind and everybody's standards, everybody's thoughts, everybody's blueprint 100% ready. Is going to come to you in that way. God has a funny sense of humor. That's what I like to say. And God sees different things inside of us that we don't see. Because I know sometimes for myself, I'd be like, look, Lord, I really appreciate you thinking I'm the strongest soldier out here in the streets, but I am not. And God will just bless me with something. And I'm just like, whoo, I love this. I'm grateful. Thank you. But are you kidding me? Like, I wasn't prepared for this. How am I supposed to navigate it? What am I supposed to do? Am I really ready? And so I think we have to understand that sometimes the societal definition of what readiness looks like, sometimes the societal myth that you have to be fully healed, whole, and ready for love is not going to work for God's plan. It doesn't work. It doesn't align. And so you got to be willing and ready to grow and to trust and to release control. Yes, you've got to be ready to release control, because I think the thing that we all have to remember is God's time is God's time. His time is infinite. His ways are beyond our ways. His understanding of when something is to come to pass definitely doesn't always align with when we think it's going to come to pass. And sometimes you got to be ready to move and pivot. That's how you have to be ready to move and pivot, because again, love has curves, and you got to be even ready in the uncertainty of it all to recognize the love is real and can be God ordained. And you have to allow that ordainment to take supersede of your ego and your thought. And let me say that again. Sometimes you have to be willing to release control so that you can understand that even in uncertainty, love can be real and God ordained. Because a lot of times, again, remember, we've talked about it before, we have to die to ourselves. It's that ego. That ego gets us caught up. That ego keeps us where we are constantly questioning, like, I'm not ready, but God keeps bringing it to you like you're ready. And then you keep pushing it back like, well, I'm not ready, Lord, but God keeps bringing it back to you in another form. You're ready, God. And then you keep pushing it back. But then God takes one of your friends and one of your friends tells you, fool, that's your husband. Not saying that that's what my friend said, but I will say that my friend did tell me he was my husband. And she's not wrong. I'm not married yet, though, but I'm just saying she's not wrong. And so when I say that to you, I'm saying that to say, don't allow your limiting behavior, your limiting thoughts, your fear to get in the way of what God is telling you is real and God ordained. And we have to be willing to let go of control so that we can receive it and that you can accept it and believe it. So to help you, I have an affirmation for you. I want you to write this down and keep it. I am not too late. I am not too much. I am not unworthy. Because a lot of times, as we are in this season where we're trying to ask ourselves if we're really ready for the blessing that God is trying to give us, for the love that we want, even though it has curves and you just don't understand how you're going to make this work, but you really in your soul, heart of hearts know that this is what God wants for you, you need to remember that it's not too late, you're not too much, and you're not unworthy. And we don't have to earn softness, love, or timing. And that's especially important for us as Black women. We have to remember that because we are always trying to put so much pressure on ourselves to be everything to everybody and just to align, to do all the things. So I really, 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 really want to make sure I drive that point home, that we do not have to earn softness, love, or timing. You are not too late. You are not too much, and you are not unworthy. And that even though love has curves, you are ready to navigate the curves because God brought you to it and He will bring you through it. And so as I get ready to close up, I want you guys to think about a few things. One, what kind of love are you waiting for? Like really, what kind of love are you waiting for? What is it to you? What does it mean? What does it feel like? What does it look like? And then are you willing to trust the form it takes, even if it comes with curves? Are you okay with that? Are you ready? Are you ready to let go of what you feel like it should be, of what society is telling you it should be, what your mama and your friends are telling you it should be? Are you really ready to let it go? And trust the form it takes, even if it comes with curves. Because I think it's just important for us in those seasons, as you're thinking through that reflection, I really want you to have the courage to trust God's timing. I want you to understand that it's okay to receive imperfect love. It has curves. You were built to be able to navigate these curves and have the wisdom while you are walking through this curve of life with love, that you will walk with accountability and peace. A beautiful scripture to help you is to remember Ecclesiastes 3. He makes all things beautiful in His time. So again, my hope is that you will take this time to, give yourself some space to think about, where you are, what the love that you're waiting for. Are you willing to trust it even when it comes with curves? Because you deserve real, true, lasting love. And I am so excited for you to have it. So I hope you will kind of guide yourself through the reflection and think about it. For myself, like I said, I'm in love and I'm very happy with my love, and it is growing me and is shaping me and changing me in so many ways. And there are so many things that I could talk about. And in time, I think he and I will have some conversations with you guys about it. We're very excited about it, but we just kind of want to keep valuing it, keep sharing it, and keep growing. We won't tell you everything, but definitely we'll tell you a lot of things. Just because, again, I feel like love showed up with curves, but I'm riding the curves, and God has been the best pilot through it. And I want that for you. So I just want you to think about it. And if you have a love that's shown up curved, remember, it's okay. You can make it through. Remember, even though it may have curves, it's covered. Give God the room to show you the covering. And so I invite you to, share stories in the comments, please, because we all need inspiration. We all need encouragement. And if you're waiting, don't give up in the waiting. Take this time to heal, to grow, to learn, to be the best version of you, and to be open, really receptive to what you deserve, and nothing less than that. So I hope that you enjoyed this week's episode. I will be back next week with a brand new episode as well. I will make sure that I share all of my information in the show notes. And definitely, like I said, please, I welcome you to share your comments of love and how your love has curves and how you've been waiting and what you're doing so that we can encourage, support, and connect with each other. And I truly thank you for listening. And I will be back and I will talk to you later. Please take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll talk soon. Ta-ta!